original.
Hello and welcome to Webcrawlers, the podcast where we do a deep dive into some of our favorite mysteries. Each week we will introduce our topic, lay out our research and findings, and reveal some conspiracy theories. Maybe even conclude with our own hypothesis. Maybe. I'm Allie Siegel.
And I'm Melissa Stetton.
And where the fuck is Maria?
Where is she?
She still texts
Maria? Us. We know she's alive.
Maybe I'm thinking like, what if she went to Alaska and then is kidnapped by one of these serial killers? Or what if she is one of them?
The world may never know.
Or will we? Melissa, who are our patrons for today?
We've got Sam and Sarah.
Ooh, double S time. I just released a new Patreon episode. I'll put up the video today. So far, I just have the audio. So get excited. New things to come. Melissa, what is our episode on today?
Today is about a guy named Michael Rockefeller.
The Rockefellers.
Of the Rockefellers.
Ooh, man.
Well, in 1961, he disappeared off the coast of Dutch New Guinea during a boating accident. And everyone was like, oh yeah, he must have drowned. But some people were like, he was probably eaten by cannibals on the nearby island.
Oh my God. I honestly love cannibals. I don't know what it is, but I love cannibals.
You love it.
I love a cannibal story.
What happened to this rich kid? Let's get into it.
Now, this is not really to do with the episode, but it kind of does. I always forget,
Rockefeller's oysters, Rockefeller. What is it?
You're in Rockefeller Records. The rich people of, what is it, like the 30s or like these original rich families of the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, J.P. Morgan.
Yep.
The Vanderbilts.
Oh, the Vanderbilt. Anderson Cooper is a descendant of the Vanderbilt. His mom is Gloria Vanderbilt.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
Yeah.
We should do one time like an episode on just these like rich families and how they founding. The original Illuminati.
Oil and railroads and banks.
Oil tycoons.
Oils, railroads, and banks.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it.
All right, cool. Tell us about it. Him.
Okay, well, I found this. I was on my favorite website, Reddit.
Yes.
And the subreddit popped up called Last Images. And it's kind of a dark subreddit. It's all images of people before they die. Like their last images. But it came up as like, I don't follow it. It just came up as like, this was a popular image of the day.
Yeah.
And so I looked at the subreddit, and it's a lot of like people just posting like family members, like, oh, this is my dad before he died. It's a lot of it's sad, but a lot of it's like famous people, like last photo of this person before they died. It's pretty crazy. So this popped up, and it was a photo of Michael Rockefeller. It was like last image before he disappeared, and I was like, huh?
Jesus.
I'd never heard this before. So then I did a quick Goog, and I found this article on allthat'sinteresting.com. Great website by Gabe Paoletti. And then there's this other like extremely long article in the Smithsonian by this guy named Carl Hoffman that I read, and I'm like, this story is nuts. I've never heard it.
Oh my God.
So in the early 1960s, Michael Rockefeller, 23-year-old, vanished somewhere off the coast of Papua New Guinea, and his disappearance was like shocking because he was the grandson of John Rockefeller. So it was like the biggest manhunt at the time.
I can imagine. It's like if Paris Hilton went missing in Papua New Guinea.
So years later, the true fate of the heir to the Standard Oil fortune has been uncovered, and it's more disturbing than anyone could have imagined.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so Michael Clark Rockefeller was born in 1938.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Michael Clark Duncan. He was the youngest son of New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller. So he was like born into this dynasty of millionaires. which was founded by his famous great-grandfather, John D. Rockefeller, one of the richest people who ever lived, one of the first billionaires. So Michael's father wanted him to follow in his footsteps and help manage the family's business empire. Now, Michael was a bit of a black sheep. He was like shy, quieter. He was way more artistic. He went to Harvard, graduated in 1960. And he wanted to do something more exciting than run a bunch of boring ass companies. He's like, nah, I'm not into oil. Oil's
that
boring.
Ain't for me, bro. Yeah.
So his father, who was like this amazing art collector, recently opened the Museum of Primitive Art. Whoa. And had all these exhibits with like Nigerian, Aztec, and Mayan works. And Michael was like obsessed with this art. He's like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Very into primitive art, which is now called indigenous or like non-Western art.
Whew.
Or like, yeah, because like primitive is like
a
term of the oldies.
The olden days, yeah.
So he was like, well, I want to find my own sort of indigenous art, like an unfound tribe. Like he was really into like anthropology.
That's cool.
So he joined the board of his father's museum.
As one does.
So then he's like, this is what I want to do. I can work in the family business, but I want to work in like the art side of it. So this guy named Carl, who was a graduate student of anthropology at Harvard, worked with Michael. And he said that Michael said he wanted to do something that hadn't been done before and to bring a major collection to New York. So this was like his life's goal. He's like, this is what I want to do. I want to find a collection, bring it to New York.
Whoa.
So he had already traveled like around the world. He had lived in Japan and Venezuela, but he was like very adventurous and he wanted to like travel much more. He wanted to go on an anthropological expedition to a place you would ever see.
I wanted to major in anthropology. I took one anthropology class in college and was like, I want to major in this.
Why didn't you?
Listen, life took me a different direction and now I have a podcast.
I was really into geology. I took one geology class and I was like, this is the coolest shit ever. Like all these different rocks.
Yeah.
But then I didn't take any more classes.
I like that you were really into rocks. Yeah, I was like, I want to be a sociologist or an anthropologist. I think that's so cool. But, life passes you by.
Then I took some art history classes. I was like, this'll do.
Yeah, that's fine.
So Michael spoke with representatives from the Dutch National Museum of Ethnology. And he decided to make a trip to what was then known as Dutch New Guinea, which was this massive island off the coast of Australia, to collect the art of the Asmat people who resided there. So he was there and like was engaged with the culture. He was like recording all this ethnographic data, and he wrote a letter home that said, he probably started with, Dear Father, I'm having a thoroughly exhausting but most exciting time here. The Asmat is like a huge puzzle with the variations in ceremony and art style forming the pieces. My trips are enabling me to comprehend, if only in a superficial, rudimentary manner, the nature of this puzzle.
Ooh.
He's into it. He's very into it.
He loves it.
So this is his first scouting expedition to Asmat. By the 1960s, the Dutch colonial authorities and missionaries had already been on the island for almost a decade.
Interesting.
But many Asmat people had never seen a white man.
And let me tell you, it's terrifying.
It's terrifying.
If you've ever seen one, it's terrifying.
It's so light. So they were like, this culture, I think it's around for like 60,000 years or something, but they are very contained. There's like 50,000 islands in this area with like that speak 1,000 different languages.
Jesus Christ.
People who don't have contact with the outside world. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
So they were like, what's a white man?
Yeah. What is this thing?
And they believed that any land that wasn't theirs, like any outside land, was inhabited by spirits. Because they didn't know anything. That's just, they had their own little tribe.
Right.
And so when white people came from across the sea, they thought they were like these strange supernatural beings.
Oh my God, it makes sense. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So Michael Rockefeller and his team of researchers and documentarians were these mysterious white beings to the people in this village called Oatsgenep, which is home to one of the biggest Asmat communities on the island.
Huh.
And they weren't necessarily a welcoming group.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, I can imagine you want to like defend your land. They have no diseases there. They're so like protected from everything. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and then white people come in and just ruin everything per usual.
Well, do you remember in 2018, there was this guy who like took a boat to North Sentinel Island. He was this like evangelical Christian missionary guy.
No.
Who was like obsessed with trying to convert people to Christianity. And he's like, I bet I can go to this little island of these people and convert them. But they have wanted nothing to do with any sort of outside
Of course.
people. They haven't had contact with people for over like 60,000 years.
Oh my God.
And so this guy, John, broke a bunch of laws, sailed his boat near the island.
Fuck.
And like the only photos of this tribe are like, they have bow and arrows.
Oh my God.
And they're like threatening people, like, get the fuck away from our island. Like anyone that comes near, they're like, stay the fuck away. Because they have no immunity to disease either. So if one person comes, brings fucking E. coli.
Anything, yeah.
They die. They all fucking die. Like this tribe killed 2 fishermen in 2006 because they're like, stay away.
There's a similar island in Hawaii called Niihau. I might be mispronouncing it. The Forbidden Island of Hawaii.
That's right.
And there's 170 to 250 residents, and no one is allowed to go there. Amazing. It's like they're relatives of the Robinsons, like Swiss Family Robinson, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 70 square foot mile island. You can see it from Kauai. I remember I went on a hike thing in Kauai, and you can look at it, and there's like a plaque. But it's off limits to outsiders. Only the Robinson family, their relatives, invited guests, government officials, and the Navy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They really got it figured out. If you can like have your people living there for like 60,000 years and you're like doing fine.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, we're good, bro.
Okay, so back to the Asmats. So when Michael Rockefeller got to this first island that he went to, the locals in the village were like, okay, yeah, you can take photos, but they didn't want them to take any sort of cultural artifacts. Like these things called beized poles, which are called like intricately carved wooden pillars.
Interesting.
That served as part of their like, rituals and religious rites. So they're like, yeah, you can take pictures, but like we don't, because Michael wanted to like get the art and bring it back and display it in the museum. And they're like, nah, bruh.
Yeah, what a fuck.
Like our religious artifacts aren't for you to fucking show off to people. No, Michael wasn't intimidated at all. He thought these Asmat people were very fascinating and they didn't live by any sort of Western norms. And he was very excited to bring like their world back to his, to like talk about them.
Jesus.
Which seems like that's such a privilege. Like you're the richest, part of the richest family in the world. You're like, I want to go to this crazy tribe of these weird people.
Yeah.
Like, no, they're not like, it's not a fucking like circus for you to be like, look at these people.
Yeah, like our culture is not your costume.
Yes. So at the time, war between villages was common. And Michael learned that the Asmat warriors often took the heads of their enemies and ate their flesh. You don't fuck with them.
Yikes.
In certain regions, the Asmat men would engage in ritual homosexual sex, and in bonding rites, they would sometimes drink each other's urine.
I mean, listen, the weekend's the weekend.
Yeah. They would do that on the weekends. They were having fun down there.
Yeah.
So Michael wrote in his diary, he said, now this is wild and somehow more remote country than what I have ever seen before. So he was like fascinated by this culture, of course, because they're like the complete opposite of what we are. So this initial scouting mission concluded. Michael Rockefeller was like super pumped. He wrote out his plans to create a detailed anthropological study of the Asmat and display a collection of their art in his father's museum.
Ooh.
So he's like, this is cool. I found this like tribe to display their art.
Right.
And then he wanted to go back to New Guinea a year later. And he went with Renee Wassing, who was a government anthropologist. He's like, I want to go back to this different place and find more art. But they were in I think it was a motorized canoe, and they approached Oates-Genep on November 19th, 1961. And then a sudden squall disturbed the water, and all these cross currents were happening, and the boat capsized.
Oh, shit.
So they were like clinging to the side of the boat, and they were about 12 miles from shore. So you could see the island. And Michael apparently told the anthropologist, I think I can make it. Like if he swam.
Oh my God. White guy shit.
Yeah. And so he swam, and he was never seen again.
Uh-oh.
Shortly after, Renee was rescued. Like shortly after. If only Michael had stayed, he'd
be fine.
Came and got him. And he's like, nah, I think I can make a 12-mile
I'm good, bud. I'm good.
So they were like, okay, well, he either died or drowned or got eaten by sharks.
Fuck.
But he was like, one of the richest kids in the world. They had this like huge search. They had ships, airplanes, helicopters. They were just searching for him for like a year. And Nelson Rockefeller and his wife flew to New Guinea to help search for their son. But they were never able to find his body.
Oh, shit.
And so the Dutch interior minister stated, there is no longer any hope of finding Michael Rockefeller alive.
That must have been such a huge deal at the time.
Yeah, it was. It's like Paris Hilton going missing.
Going missing in Papua New Guinea.
So the Rockefellers still thought there was a chance that Michael would appear at some point.
Oh, God.
But they left the island. And then eventually the Dutch called off the search. And then Michael's death was officially put down as drowning.
Or was it?
So this was like a huge media sensation. A bunch of rumors are spreading.
God.
Some people were like, he must have been eaten by sharks or saltwater crocodiles.
Oh my God. What is this, Peter Pan?
Thing. I know. And then others claimed he was living somewhere in the jungle of New Guinea, like escaping his wealthy life, like being like rebelling, being like, fuck you guys, I live in the jungle now.
Oh,
Which
interesting.
Is, like, possible.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he didn't seem to like his life at home anyway.
Yeah. But the Dutch denied all these rumors. They said they were unable to discover what had happened to him, and he just simply vanished without a trace.
Oh, God.
So that was back in 1961. And then, cut to 2014.
Uh-oh.
Carl Hoffman, who's a reporter for National Geographic, he wrote a book called Savage Harvest, a tale of cannibals, colonialism, and Michael Rockefeller's tragic quest for primitive art.
Uh-oh.
Many of the Netherlands inquiries put into the matter, then they said that they had evidence that the Asmat killed Michael.
Uh-oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
Let's take a quick break for announcements. Webcrawlers has a Patreon to get access to some fun bonus episodes that we have coming up. Shout outs, merchandise discounts. Also, I'll be reading from some weird like witchy magazines and pamphlets that I've accrued over the years if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Also thinking I might do some reviews of horror movies and docs that I watch.
Oh, you're a big horror movie buff.
Yeah, I think maybe like after I watch a doc or a horror movie, I'll just record a quick like, here's my synopsis of it if you want to watch it. I'll try to do it spoiler free, but you never know.
You never know.
You can donate as little as $2 a month to become a patron, or if you're just a fan of what we do and want to encourage women in the fine arts, please donate. Also, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. If you give us a 5-star review, we will shout you out. Also, Erios has a hotline. Insert jingle here.
626-604-6262.
Erios.
Continue to call us. Continue to leave your voicemails. Walk through that fear if you haven't called yet, and leave your very first voicemail for the web crawlers, and then join the Discord, and then get a job and meet your best friends for life. Now, back to our program.
So 2 Dutch missionaries on the island, both of whom had lived among the Asmat for years and who spoke their language, told the authorities that they had overheard from the Asmat that some of them had killed Michael Rockefeller.
Oh, God.
So a police officer was sent to investigate the crime the following year, and he was named Wim van de Wal.
Of course he was. What are these names from? Like, what? It's so
very
easy.
Dutch name.
Yeah, everyone in the 20s was named something like that.
And so he came to the same conclusion. He even got a skull that the Asmat claimed belonged to Michael Rockefeller.
Oh, no.
But all of these reports were buried in classified files, and no one further investigated.
Shit.
So the Rockefellers were told that there was nothing to the rumors that their son had been killed by natives. They're like, no. This isn't, no. He drowned.
God.
So why would they suppress the stories though? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Well, by 1962, the Dutch had already lost half of the island to the new state of Indonesia.
Interesting.
They feared that if it were believed that they could not control the native population, they would quickly be ousted. They were like, no, we have this population under control. They're not killing people. They're not doing any of this nonsense. Ooh. Michael drowned. So they had a good reason to like not be like, oh yeah, they killed him. They were like, no. This is under control. No one's killing anyone. So Carl Hoffman decided to investigate these like 50-year-old claims. So he traveled to Oostgeneep, and he posed as a journalist, documenting their culture. He had an interpreter with him, and his interpreter overheard a man telling another member of the tribe not to discuss the American tourist who had died there. They're like, don't bring up the American tourist.
Yeah.
And the interpreter asked who the man was. Like, who are you talking about? And they said it was Michael Rockefeller.
Fuck.
So this interpreter learned that it was common knowledge on the island that the Asmat people of Oostgeneep killed a white man, and that it should not be mentioned for fear of retaliation. Like, it was a big secret on the island. Like, don't tell anyone
about the dude we killed. Yeah.
And he also learned that the killing of Michael Rockefeller was a retaliation.
Ooh.
So in 1957, 3 years before Michael got to the island, a massacre occurred between 2 Asmat tribes.
Oh, fuck.
It was the Oostgeneep and the Omadisep villages. They killed dozens of each other's men. So they had like a war.
Oh, Jesus.
And the Dutch colonial government, who had like recently taken control of the island, tried to put a stop to this war that was happening. So the Dutch went to disarm the Oostgeneep tribe.
You're doing great so far, just so you know.
Oostgeneep, but a series of cultural misunderstandings resulted in the Dutch shooting at the Oostgeneep. So they went there to try to de-escalate things. Somehow they ended up shooting them. These people didn't have guns, by the way.
Oh my God. Of course it was a quote unquote misunderstanding. Like, no, sweetie.
Yeah. They were probably like
no colonizer.
Defending their island.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck away. And then the Dutch were like, okay, we'll just shoot you. Like, this is the first time these people had seen guns.
God, that's so crazy.
Like, and 4 of their leaders were shot and killed.
That's so sad.
So, of course, they were like, what the fuck? You just come here and, like, kill us with these fucking machines that we've never seen before?
God.
So then, it was this reason why the Oostgeneep tribesmen saw Michael Rockefeller and were like, a white man, let's kill him in retaliation for what the Dutch did to our 4 men.
Makes perfect sense.
Yep. So according to the Dutch missionary who first heard the story, the tribesmen initially thought Michael was a crocodile because he was doing the backstroke.
That crazy crocodile shit.
But when he got closer, they recognized him as a Tuan, which means a white man.
White man.
Like the Dutch colonizers. Like, oh, it's another fucking Dutch man.
Fuck.
And unfortunately for Michael, the men he encountered were war leaders and the sons of those who were killed by the Dutch. That's who you see first. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Their fathers were all killed. And then one of them reportedly said, people of Oostgenep, you're always talking about headhunting Tuans. Well, here's your chance. Ooh.
Oh, God.
So they were hesitant, mostly out of fear, but then they eventually speared and killed him. And they cut off his head. And they opened his skull to eat his brain. No. And then they cooked and ate the rest of his flesh.
Oh, no.
His thigh bones were turned into daggers, and his tibias were made into points for fishing spears. I mean, useful.
You got to use all the parts.
Yeah, very resourceful. The blood was drained, and the tribesmen drenched themselves in it while they performed ritual dances and sex acts.
Oh my God.
Wasn't that a scene from like True Blood?
Yeah, like this is
where they had like an orgy with like the blood.
Yes, with that was like that's when the show started to get wonky. That was like season 3 or 4 with that woman who was like a demon or something.
That crazy woman who showed
like horse
up.
demon or something. Yes.
Everyone was just like making out and having sex and just like pouring blood all over everyone.
Yes.
That's what this was like.
Oh God.
So in accordance with their theology, the people of Oostgenep believed they were restoring balance to the world.
Okay.
The tribe of the white man had killed 4 of them, and now they had taken retribution. So by eating the body of Michael Rockefeller, they could absorb the energy and power that had been taken from them.
I mean, yeah.
That's hard. That's hardcore. It makes sense. That makes perfect sense. To them, it's like, okay, this is balance.
Yes.
But then they had to bury the secret of his death. Like, they don't want people knowing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't long before the village of Oostgenep came to regret the decision.
Oh, interesting.
So the search that followed the murder of Michael Rockefeller was terrifying to the Asmat people, most of whom had never seen a plane or helicopter before.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. People are probably like swarming to this place to try to figure out what happened.
Yeah, the richest kid in the world. They're like, oh, fuck, who did we just kill?
Who did we kill?
So then, following this event, the region was also plagued by a horrible cholera epidemic that some people saw as revenge for the murder.
You mean cholera?
Like they think someone... what did I say?
Cholera.
Cholera? Cholera?
The classic cholera.
Let's
call the whole thing off.
Cholera. How do you say it?
I think it's cholera.
Cholera. It's like how I can't say Bogota.
Bogota.
Bogota?
I don't know.
So yeah, they got cholera and they thought it was like revenge for the murder. Like someone maybe like poisoned their water or something.
Oh, fuck.
So these Asmat people told the story to Carl Hoffman, but no one who took part in the death would come forward. They all were like, said it was a story they heard. They're like, yeah. I heard that this happened. I didn't have anything to do with it. I heard it may have happened.
Oh,
but...
fuck.
So then one day when Carl Hoffman was in the village, shortly before he returned to the U.S., he saw a man miming a killing as part of a story he was telling to another man. He's like, he's like, stabbing.
Oh my God, I love that.
And the tribesman pretended to spear someone, shoot an arrow, and chop off a head. Like laughing, like, yeah,
that's so funny. That's exactly, we did that.
And then hearing words related to murder, Carl Hoffman began to film, but then the story was already over. Like they stopped.
Oh, fuck, you missed the best parts.
You missed it. But Hoffman was, however, able to catch the ending of the story on film. And I guess the person said, "Don't you tell this story to any other man or any other village, because this story is only for us. Don't speak and tell the story. I hope you remember it, and you must keep this for us. I hope this is for you and you only. Don't talk to anyone forever, to other people or any other village. If people question you, don't answer. Don't talk to them, because the story is only for you. If you tell it to them, you'll die. I'm afraid you will die. You'll be dead. Your people will be dead if you tell this story. You keep the story in your house to yourself, I hope, forever, forever."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Private
Don't
much?
fucking tell anyone. So then there's some rumors that he's still alive.
Really?
Which I guess because he was born in 1939. So he would be like 80.
I mean, I guess it's possible.
But in the Daily Mail.
Of course. Yeah, in the National Enquirer, they've seen him around town with Elvis and Tupac.
Is this proof a lost Rockefeller heir joined a tribe of naked cannibals? Picture shows white man with Papa Man eaters 8 years after mysterious disappearance. So there's a photo of a white man with this tribe
now I'm
in
listening.
1969. It's like a very blurry photo.
Oh my God, yeah. But okay, that also could be photoshopped.
It could be photoshopped.
But that's such a weird and specific Photoshop. Like, imagine the editor of the Daily Mail being like, all right, we're going to divvy out articles today. Can you Photoshop Michael Rockefeller into a missing population? This happened, 50 years ago, but...
Yeah. So that he could still be alive, maybe. I mean, I'm pretty sure they ate him. I'm sure they killed him and ate him.
Yeah, I mean, we'll put this picture up, but it looks like he's like fighting and doing arrows with the tribe, and he's in face paint, like ceremonial face paint and stuff. This reminds me of this Eli Roth movie I watched once, which
which one?
What was it?
Happened
it's called
Eli
The Green Inferno.
The Green Inferno.
New York college student Justine, a lawyer's daughter, meets a student activist when he goes on a hunger strike on behalf of underpaid janitors. Smitten. Okay, it takes a turn though. Smitten, Justine agrees to help Alejandro undertake his next project to save the Amazon. She soon learns to regret her decision when their plane crashes in the Peruvian jungle and she and the rest of the group are taken captive by a tribe of hungry cannibals.
Oh,
yeah, kind of a similar story where she's like a famous daughter of a guy. I wonder if it was maybe
I bet it was
loosely
inspired
based, inspired off this, and their plane crashes and
What has Eli Roth made a movie recently? I feel like he has not.
I think he does like TV stuff. I always
maybe nothing good.
No, he does like Eli Roth scary stories for like Hulu and Shudder. I feel like like real stories of history of horror. A ghost ruined my life.
Oh, okay.
He works with that Zach Baggins guy. It seems like the Haunted Museum show. It seems like he does that.
Oh, weird.
Oh, he made the Hostel movies.
Cabin Fever.
I love the Hostel movies.
Yeah,
all three of them. Great. I own them.
Ooh, on DVD.
I own them on Blu-ray and VHS.
Yeah, those are good movies.
Wow, what a career. He also did a movie called Clown. I actually think I've seen that movie, oddly enough, in 2014. I think because maybe I didn't watch it in 2014, but it's a guy, he puts on a clown mask or something and then he can't remove it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and he slowly turns into this evil clown.
That's cool.
Yeah, good for him.
Good for him. Well, anyway, you can see some of these Azmet artifacts that Michael Rockefeller collected are actually at Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City.
Those are
Michael C. Rockefeller wing.
Oh my God. I bet you those are so cursed.
I feel like I've been there, but I don't remember seeing those, probably because I just wasn't paying attention. But yeah, those are cursed objects.
Yeah, that's They should give those back. It seems like there's a curse to this family. Like a lot of shit has happened to this family, right?
Oh, really? To the Rockefellers?
Fossil fuel, the ongoing curse of the Rockefellers, the curse of the Rockefeller family, how Rockefeller dynasty has been plagued by tragedy and scandal.
Oh, I don't really know much about the Rockefellers.
Me either, but I just had a feeling that this probably started a curse on the family, and I was right.
Sure, this happened in the 60s. Oh, yeah, an article, The Curse of the Rockefeller Family, started with Michael Rockefeller.
I knew it. Yeah, obviously.
Oh, shit.
I knew it. I was like, there's no way that this turned out good for the family.
Ludlow Massacre, a deadly attack against striking workers at a mine John owned that killed 2 women and 11 children.
The dad died under mysterious circumstances,
Really?
I guess. Car crashes. Like, it just seems weird deaths and disasters follow them after this incident.
Richard Rockefeller died in a plane crash in 2014.
A con artist and convicted murderer, Christian Gerhardt or something, managed to wile his way into the heart of the art world and establishment by posing as Clark Rockefeller. His tangled web of lies fell apart when he kidnapped his daughter during a custody battle and was finally sentenced to prison for the murder of John Sois, the son of his former landlady.
Whoa.
The fake Rockefeller is currently serving a 27-year sentence.
Dang.
A lot of weird shit. A lot of weird shit with this family. Yeah. Well, if you guys know any curses of the Rockefeller family or other famous families.
Is your family cursed?
Is your family cursed? Or if you know anything about cannibalism, Melissa, where can people reach us?
You can email us at webcrawlerspod@gmail.com.
All right. I am Allie. Just stick on your own street. You don't need to colonize other places, Siegel.
And I'm Melissa Saltwater Crocodile Stetton.
That's a good one. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
An Erios original.
Powered by Acast.